There are secrets that are not hidden in ancient books or dusty scrolls locked away. Some secrets live within your own body, and one of them is located right at the center of your belly. That small vortex of skin, that almost invisible circle we often ignore in the mirror, is not a biological accident, nor a mere birth scar. It is a remnant of something sacred. It is a portal, an energetic antenna, a forgotten threshold. In ancient times, many cultures knew the navel was the first center of power. Life entered through it, but it can also be lost through it. The human body, wise in its design, keeps that opening as if to remind us, everything began here. Your energy still flows here. What most people ignore is that your vital force can also leak through that very point. Yes, as if a crack were left open through which the purest part of your essence escapes. The unexplained exhaustion, the lack of focus, the feeling of emptiness or being drained after certain interactions might not be coming from the outside, but from that subtle leak right at your core. Now, what would happen if you decided to seal that point? What if you covered it, not out of modesty, but out of power? What if that simple action was the key to retain your energy, boost your intuition, and rekindle the inner fire you once felt and now seems dormant? This video is an invitation to remember, to look at your body again, not as a collection of organs, but as a sacred map full of portals and forgotten symbols. We'll explore the esoteric wisdom behind the navel, its energetic role, and why so many ancient cultures saw it as a spiritual center. I'll show you how to cover it with intention and purpose. This can provoke deep changes in your auric field, your focus, your dreams, and even in how you connect with others. Remember this, the mystical doesn't always live in complexity. Sometimes the greatest awakening begins with a small gesture, a patch, a touch, an intention over your navel, and your energy begins to return to you. So breathe, observe your center, and get ready to rediscover what has always been there, waiting to be activated. Long before modern medicine defined it as a simple umbilical scar, the navel was revered as a symbol of origin, power, and sacred connection. In many ancient cultures, this bodily center was not merely a residue of physical birth, but the visible echo of an invisible connection, an energetic cord that is never truly cut. Through it flowed, and still flows, a current of subtle energy and information. In Vedic India, the navel was known as Navi and considered a fundamental point in the subtle body. In the chakra system, it is located near the third chakra, Manipura, associated with inner fire, willpower, and personal strength. But beyond the known chakras, some tantric lineages spoke of a secret chakra, the lower Vindu, located directly at the center of the navel. It was said that those who mastered this point could awaken balance between the physical and spiritual worlds. For the navel is the equilibrium between what nourishes and what is given. In Chinese Taoism, the navel is closely linked to the lower dantian, the energetic center of gravity in the body. Taoist sages knew that this area housed a kind of invisible cauldron where internal alchemy was brewed. It was common for practitioners of Qigong and Neiden to maintain focus, warmth, or even physical pressure on the navel to preserve qi, vital energy, and prevent its dispersion. Meanwhile, in Mesoamerican cultures, especially among the Mexica and Maya, the navel was also a symbol of cosmic centrality. The Nahuatl word yolotl, which can be understood as heart or center, was energetically connected to the solar plexus and the navel, seen as a point of intersection between worlds, the material plane and the invisible realms. The famous four-petal flower symbol, representing the center of the universe in Aztec codices, could be interpreted as a reflection of the human navel, the center of the microcosm. Even in more esoteric Judeo-Christian tradition, the human body was described as a temple. And if the heart was the altar, the navel was the entrance point. The Song of Songs, a deeply symbolic Old Testament text, refers to the navel as a round cup that never lacks wine, a metaphor for the power flowing from within. Over time, these teachings were displaced, obscured, or ridiculed by rationalist and materialist discourses. The body came to be seen as a machine, and the navel merely a forgotten button in the middle of the abdomen. But spiritual traditions knew, what science still hesitates to acknowledge, that this small indentation is the mark of our connection to the whole. an energy port which, if left open and unprotected, can become a pathway for energy loss. Think about it for a moment. The only point in the body that was literally your lifeline before you could breathe on your own. Why would it cease to have function once the cord is cut? What is cut physically remains spiritually. What is forgotten is not deactivated. Today, many people feel fatigue, mental scatter, or anxiety without an apparent cause. They search for external reasons, but overlook that energy loss also happens on subtle levels. And the unguarded navel acts like an open door to the environment. Every emotion, every gaze, every foreign vibration that touches you may be entering or exiting through it. That's why ancient cultures taught to cover, seal, or protect the navel, especially during rituals, in public spaces, during meditation practices, or while sleeping, not out of superstition, but out of deep energetic wisdom. And now that you know this too, what will you do with this portal? The navel, though ignored in daily life, is a point of convergence where vital energy is organized, concentrated and projected. It is, metaphorically, like the invisible eye of a sacred keyhole. It has no eyelids. It doesn't close on its own. And if we don't seal it consciously, it becomes an open valve. Through it, information enters, but power can also escape. Imagine your body as a chalice, a sacred vessel holding the finest oil, your essence. If that chalice has a small crack at its base, no matter how much you fill it, it will never be full. The navel is that base, and that crack is the lack of awareness about its role. Throughout the day, we interact with dozens of people, absorb environments filled with noise, haste and external intentions. All of this impacts our subtle field. But what few know is that the navel acts as an energetic center of both absorption and emission, without a filter, especially sensitive to intense emotions, invasive gazes, and loaded words. From this perspective, it's not about protecting ourselves out of fear, but sealing with wisdom, just like we close a door to preserve warmth inside the house during winter. Sealing the navel helps maintain our internal energetic temperature, preventing our vital reserves from dissipating without us even realizing. Here enters an ancient practice that has survived almost as a whisper among healers, yogis, and guardians of hidden lineages. Covering the navel with a small disc, cloth, or even with an intentional finger during key moments. It's not superstition, it's spiritual science, it's body alchemy. This seemingly simple act activates a chain reaction within your energetic system. When the body senses the seal, it redirects its flow like a river that finds containment and deepens its course instead of overflowing. What used to leak now condenses. What was lost is now refined. There's also a direct relationship between the navel and the enteric nervous system, often called the second brain, located in the abdomen. This system, connected to the solar plexus, is responsible not only for digestive functions, but also for intuitive perceptions. Have you never felt a void in your stomach before something your mind hadn't yet understood, or an expansion in your belly during moments of gratitude or deep connection? When the navel is consciously sealed, the bioelectric field of the abdomen is strengthened, along with emotional clarity, intuition, and the energy available for action. It's as if by closing that door, all your inner lights start to shine brighter. Additionally, some tantric practitioners believe that the navel is a miniature mirror of the cosmos. According to them, it is a microchakra that connects to higher planes through an invisible cord, a thread of light that still links the soul to its origin. And every time we touch or cover it with intention, that thread activates, as if dialing a secret number on a cosmic phone. And what happens then? What many describe without being able to explain: a sense of presence, of inner calm, of something finally clicking. Others report lucid dreams, sudden clarity, or a return to themselves after days of confusion. All of this begins with a single gesture, paying attention to that forgotten point that has always been there, waiting to be remembered. The moment you choose to consciously cover your navel, you're not merely covering skin. You are activating an ancient, alchemical mechanism that transforms your inner world. It's as if a key turns in a forgotten portal, and suddenly you begin to hear what was always there. In the oldest esoteric teachings, it was said that the human body is a living replica of the universe, a perfect, microcosm. In this sacred map, the navel is not only the physical center of the body, but also its primordial energetic anchor, an epicenter through which vital currents flow. Here is where your inner fire can either be ignited or extinguished. When you leave this point unprotected, the external world gains free access to your energy field. It's like living with your front door slightly open. Any emotional current, foreign vibration, or collective thought can slip in and disrupt your inner harmony. The body then behaves like a poorly tuned radio, picking up static, distortion, spiritual noise. But when you start covering that center, whether with cloth, a small flat crystal, or even the simple pressure of your hand during your practices, you are creating a sacred container, a chalice where your energy begins to concentrate. This act triggers a series of adjustments in the subtle system. First, the auric field densifies. Your aura becomes more compact, more stable. It's as if the invisible cracks through which your energy was leaking begin to close. This reinforced field protects your nervous system from external interferences and amplifies your focus, intuition, and personal magnetism. Second, the energy flow that once dissipated outward begins to circulate upward in a spiral through the spine. This energy, instead of being lost, becomes channeled. It transforms into what many traditions have called the sacred oil, the dew of the soul, or even the milk of the gods. From an alchemical perspective, cerebrospinal fluid represents this inner nectar that rises when everything is aligned. This upward movement activates other key glands, the thymus, the thyroid, the pineal gland, considered the seat of the soul in many mystical traditions, begins to receive purer signals. It's as if by sealing the root, the soul's antenna could rise more clearly toward the higher realms. And this is where the inexplicable begins to happen. Some report experiences of absolute clarity, others inner visions, lucid dreams, or a deep sense of peace. It's not fantasy, it's a vibrational realignment, a reorientation of the inner axis of being. Moreover, this gesture also produces a powerful emotional effect, self-containment. You learn to hold your energy, to not give it away, to not drain it into relationships or situations that only exist out of habit. Your field becomes magnetic, not through force but through authenticity. What once leaked out now becomes presence. The sealed navel becomes a physical reminder of the sacred boundary, a silent gesture that says, "Here begins my temple. Here begins my magic." Over time, this consistent practice allows the body to enter a more harmonious state of resonance. You become more attuned to your own needs, more selective with what you allow in. It's like tuning a forgotten instrument, and when the body vibrates at its true note, reality responds. It's not enough to know that the navel is an energetic portal. True power is activated when you integrate this into your daily life through simple, constant, and conscious acts. Esoteric wisdom is not meant to remain locked in books or distant rituals, but to illuminate your everyday experience. And in this case, the first step is to begin treating the navel not as just another body part, but as the sacred center it is. Seal your center each morning before stepping into the world. Just as you put on clothes to protect your physical body, cover your navel to protect your energetic body. You can use a small piece of cloth tape, hypoallergenic adhesive, or even a soft patch with a drawn intention, such as a solar symbol, a spiral, or the flower of life. The key is in the intention. As you do it, say mentally, "With this seal I preserve my energy. What I am belongs to me." This small morning act will serve as an invisible shield in dense environments, crowded spaces, or interactions where you often feel drained. Second, practice manual connection for several minutes a day. Especially in times of stress or before sleep, place your palm over your navel and breathe deeply. Imagine a golden light projecting from your hand into your navel and expanding inward. This practice not only calms the nervous system, it reconnects you with your center. It is a simple gesture that functions as an anchor. When everything around you is spinning, return to it. Third, use energetic oils or balms. Some traditions use essential oils such as frankincense, myrrh, palo santo, or lavender, applied with a single drop to the navel. These act as cellular memory activators, since the navel, being a former pathway of nourishment, responds well to subtle substances. Try this before spiritual practices, meditation, or whenever you need to recover inner strength. 4. Observe your emotions when sealing the navel. Many people report a noticeable emotional transformation when they begin this practice. Don't be surprised if, upon covering your navel, you feel greater clarity, strength, or even repressed emotions rising to the surface. The seal not only retains energy, it also prevents old emotional patterns from entering as they used to. It is an exercise in inner sovereignty. 5. Share this practice with others respectfully. If you notice real changes in your energy, focus, or emotional state after a few days, don't hesitate to share it. But do so by example, not through imposition. Magic is not forced, it spreads through authenticity. When others ask why you seem more centered, more at peace, or more radiant, that will be the perfect time to explain that it all began by covering something as small as the navel. Ultimately, these practices don't require blind faith or elaborate ceremonies. They require presence, coherence, and consistency. The body responds when it is listened to, and your energy, like an intelligent river, flows better when it knows its course is protected. In a world that constantly pulls us outward, into screens, noise, haste, and stimulation, talking about the navel as a portal of power might seem, at first, like an eccentric idea. But when you look with deeper eyes, you realize it's not just a physical center, it's a symbol of return to yourself, to the core from which your life began. The navel is the physical testimony of your first bond with existence. Before you breathed for the first time, before you opened your eyes to the world, you were sustained by an invisible cord that nourished you with everything you needed. That cord was cut at birth, yes, but its energetic imprint remains. And like any portal, it's still there, waiting to be acknowledged. To cover it, to seal it, to activate it, is not superstition. It's a subtle declaration of spiritual sovereignty. It is saying to the universe, I recognize my center, I reclaim my energy, I gather my power. And when you do that, not only do you transform yourself, your vibration shifts, and the world around you changes with it. Maybe you've felt more than once that something in you is leaking, that you feel drained, that by the end of the day you're inexplicably empty. Perhaps it's not physical exhaustion, but an invisible energy leak, one that occurs silently from a point you never considered. Now you know. Now you can reseal that leak, close that threshold, and turn it into an altar. Because the navel is not just a scar, it is a dormant seal of forgotten magic. And when you honor it, protect it, listen to it, something within you remembers your power, remembers your connection to the whole, remembers that you were born complete, with a sacred map inscribed in your body. Today I invite you to stop seeking outside what already lives within. Try this practice with an open mind and a willing heart. You don't need to change your whole life overnight. Just place attention on that small center for a few minutes each day and watch how everything begins to transform, as if a secret wheel had started to turn. Remember, the most powerful portals don't open outward, but inward, and your navel is one of them. If this message resonated with you, if you felt that something inside you awakened or remembered something ancient, I invite you to go deeper. Subscribe to the channel, activate the bell so you don't miss upcoming revelations, and share this video with those you know are ready to remember who they are. Give it a like if some part of this wisdom touched you, and let me know in the comments. Have you ever felt energy in your navel? Are you ready to seal your center and let your magic rise? See you on the next journey, where the invisible becomes visible.